Welcome, Doom Slayers, to the next installment of the variant series for the Complex Clusterfuck mod. You already know this video will list the Imp variants, with 33 in total. The link to the video with the URL of the official mod is in the description. As always, the enemies will be tested in the standard ultra violence difficulty, and for each enemy I will show the name, spawn code, hit points, difficulty, spawn rate, speed, item drops, and if they have a special soundtrack, I will show both the names of the soundtrack and the author. Also, for the non-boss enemies, I will show if they have the possibility of infighting one another if they do. Also, you may notice a new change in the battlefield layout. It was to specifically make easier navigation and to test enemies that can fly and climb certain elevations, which I will show later. So let's begin. First, as always, is the standard Imp. They have warm brown skin and have a slightly different appearance from the original Imp. They have the normal Imp sounds with standard speed. Obviously the most common and least difficult variant with 60 hit points. Their attack is throwing a couple of straight fireballs that do low damage and have low projectile speed. Up close, they can do a scratch attack that does less than half the damage of a fireball. Its low attack and low health give its difficulty grade of F-. Which also means you can kill a whole chunk of them with an explosive. They can sometimes drop small armor and life essence, which are the rank 1 healing orbs, which can only go up to 250. Second is the Void Imp. Same warm brown skin but with green inner flesh and have more spikes. They have the strong imp sounds, slow movement, and are the second most common with 70 hit points. They have the same scratch attack, but their ranged attack is throwing a spread of 3 fireballs, each which do the same damage as a regular Imp fireball. The direction you're going and how close you are when it fires may have a different angle for the middle fireball. The slightly higher health and spread attack are the only differences to the previous Imp, also giving it the same F- grade. Again, a lot of them can be killed with an explosive. They can sometimes drop the same rank 1 healing orbs. Third on the list is a Devil. Darker brown skin with more spikes than most other Imps. They have deeper Imp sounds, standard movement speed, and are mildly common. It has 10 more hit points than the last Imp variant with the same melee attack. However, the ranged attack is a slow side-waving homing projectile with slow homing ability as long as the projectile sees you in its angle of sight, which means if you go around it, it will go straight. It does a little bit more damage than a regular fireball. It's barely a threat above the other two, which gives it an F- difficulty grade, especially when, again, you can kill a whole chunk of them with a grenade. And still, they sometimes drop the rank 1 healing orbs. Next up is this ugly abomination, the Gore Imp. They have pale skin with spikes on the head, a forehead, eye, and a mouth in the abdomen. They have Mutant Imp sounds, which most imps have different sounds by the way. They have 10 more health than the previous imp, and they are mildly uncommon. Their movement can shift from slow to fast, and they can quick strafe even during combat. Speaking of combat, their melee is different because the Gore Imp has a lunge attack at short ranges, along with a point-blank scratch attack. As for the ranged attack, while the plasma balls look different, they have the same damage and projectile speed as the fireballs for the first two imps. But this time the Gore Imp has a faster cast rate and can fire a bigger and different number volley of projectiles. The difficulty of an enemy has to do with the difficulty of termination, which includes things like health, defense, and maneuverability, as well as offensive skills. So the faster attack rate and speed give this imp an F neutral difficulty grade, even though you can kill a whole bunch of them with an explosive. Not only can it drop rank 1 healing orbs, but it can also drop magic essence. The Phase Imp. It has the same physical shape as the Devil, but with black skin. It has different stealth imp sounds. They have 100 health, which is again 10 above the previous, and they are uncommon. Like the Gore Imp, it can quick strafe and shift its speed, only moving fast whenever it is cloaking itself near invisible. Its homing projectile is similar to the Devil, but its short trail that it leaves also does damage, which makes it a little more dangerous than the Devil's fireball, and it also has a spiral wave pattern rather than a side wave pattern. It is an F neutral grade, and likewise you can blast a whole bunch of them with a grenade. When killed, they could drop the rank 1 healing orbs or demon tech plasma charges. The Fusion Imp, also known as the Cyber Imp. It is dark brown, purple flesh with cybernetic add-ons to its right head and right arm. It has Cyber Imp sounds, and it is uncommon. It has 150 health and has medium speed, which makes it move a little faster than regular imps. Its scratch attack has a faster attack rate, and in a range, it can fire 7 plasma shots in a row. Its difficulty is an F neutral grade, and with its health and resistance, it can survive a single explosive. While it can drop rank 1 health orbs that for some reason give 8 health rather than 2, it could also drop strong armor shards. The Dark Cyber Imp. It has the same physical appearance of the Fusion Imp, but this time it has black skin and green blood. They have the same Cyber Imp sounds, and it is more uncommon than the Fusion Imp, also being semi-rare. It has 250 health, which is one of the few things that gives it its F+ grade. It also has the same speed as the Fusion Imp, but it can also shift faster for a moment. It doesn't just have a fast scratch attack, but also has a lunge melee attack that will keep sliding until it hits something. At a range, it fires a horizontal spread of 9 plasma projectiles that also do a little more damage than the Fusion Imp, as well as a faster fire rate. It also has a secondary attack and fires a volley of 5 BFG 15k shots, which have splash damage, but lesser impact damage than the plasma shots. All this gives it a F+ difficulty grade. On death, it can drop rank 1 health orbs, which give 12 health, but also rank 2 armor orbs, which go up to 300. Time for the Annihilator Imp. Warm brown skin with cyber hand cannon similar to the Cyber Demon, and a visor. They have the Cyber Imp sounds and are a semi-rare spawn. It has 400 hit points and has standard slow speed. It has many attacks. Point blank, it does a strong melee attack. In short ranges, it can do a lunge attack. It can fire a couple of grenades and fire assault shotgun shots. At longer ranges, it can fire 3 burst assault rifle shots, a couple of rockets, as well as fire a couple of homing rockets. The Annihilator Imp has the same difficulty grade as the Dark Cyber Imp. The Annihilator Imp can drop many items, the rank 1 orbs, but also heavy rank 1 healing orbs, which give 25 points. The ammunition they drop can be bullets, bullet box, shotgun shells, shell box, rocket, and a rocket box. The weapons can include the assault shotgun, assault rifle, and a rocket launcher. Now for the Elemental Imps, starting with the Toxic Imp. They have the body of a devil with green skin emitting green gas. They have mixed imp sounds and they are mildly common. It has 150 health, they have slow speed, but it can also quick strafe. They have the regular scratch attack, but their main projectile attack has similar homing abilities of the devil's projectile. Whenever the projectile hits something, it always spreads some damaging gas clouds, even though they don't deal any actual poison status. You can take it out with at least 1 explosive. This gives them the F difficulty grade. They can drop rank 1 orbs as well as demon tech charges. The Pyro Imp. They have the same physical appearance as a Toxic Imp, but this time it is red with regular imp sounds and they are mildly common. It has 100 hit points, and it has the same movement as the previous imp. Same scratch attack as usual, but this time its main attack is a spread of 3 projectiles, which is similar to the Void Imp's attack. They can be killed with an explosive. All this gives the F neutral grade. One unique thing about it is that on death they can explode, which can do low splash damage. They drop the same items as the previous imp, but it can also sometimes drop gasoline canisters. The Cryo Imp. It has the same physical shape as the last one, but instead it is grey with ice-colored spikes emitting icy particles and are just as common and difficult as the last two. It has the same HP and movement as the last imp. Its attacks also function the same way as the last imp. Only difference is that when it kills an enemy, it freezes it.
First blood.
On death, they turn to ice shards, which means it cannot be resurrected, and they have the same drops as a toxic imp, but it can also have a chance of dropping the freezer rifle. No more messing around. This is the Poltergeist. They have the appearance of a vulgar type imp, with grey skin and partially invisible emitting frost particles. They make ghostly sounds and they are an uncommon spawn. It has 120 health. While it has the same movement as the last three imps, their attacks are the real problem. Point blank, it has a different melee attack with standard attack rate, but another deadly close range freezing cloud blast attack.
First blood.
In farther ranges, it has many ways of firing its two different projectiles while also being able to quick strafe. It may fire its regular projectiles, a single straight one, a fork spread, or a 3 projectile spread. But its most dangerous range attack is the ice cluster projectiles it can fire, whether one or a triple spread. Not only do they fly faster than the regular Poltergeist projectiles, but also when they hit something, they can spread extremely fast ice shards, and the ice clusters can also do a whole lot of damage. Never engage the Poltergeist in close range. Again, like the Cryo Imp, its range attacks can freeze its killed targets.
First blood.
This gives it the E- grade. It is best to quickly kill it with a single grenade. On death, they can drop light or heavy rank 1 healing orbs, as well as energy batteries and battery packs. It also has a chance to drop the freezer rifle. The Imp Lord. It is bulky, has dark burgundy skin, and has a strong imp sounds. They are also uncommon. It has 400 health and the standard movement speed. It is more of a melee tank variant than it is a ranged variant. Even though it throws 1 or 2 fireballs at a time, they do more damage than regular fireballs. Its melee attacks are stronger than usual, and it also has a lunge close range attack, but it is not as hard as the Annihilator Imp, so it gets an F neutral grade. When killed, it could drop rank 1 healing orbs, demon tech plasma charges, and the special items include the Berserk pack or the even better Rage syringe. This should be the real Pyro Imp, the Salamander. It has scarlet skin with the lower body of a snake with 3 horns in the forehead. It has the regular imp sounds, and it is the first rare spawn on the list. It has the same health as the Imp Lord, has medium speed, and moves silently with no footstep sounds, but it can still growl. It has a fast melee attack rate as well as a lunge attack, but what makes it deadly are the fireballs that it throws, as well as a fast attack rate. It can throw a meteor-like projectile which has high impact damage, but its main projectiles are the biggest problem, which it can throw some in a row or a triple spread. Each of these projectiles, when they hit something, not only do they leave damaging flames, but it can also spread other small fireballs that also leave damaging flames. And again, the flames themselves can do deadly damage and can drain your health. So you must wait until the flames burn out. All this gives the Salamander an E neutral grade. On death, they can drop the rank 2 armor orbs and high rank 1 health orbs, because most of the health orbs look the same, but depending on the enemy, they give a different amount. The Ghoul. They have a vulgar imp body with pale skin and red spikes. They have unique vulgar-like sounds, has 150 health, and they are a rare spawn. Their movement can shift between medium and fast speed, while also doing long quick strafing and can zigzag around rapidly. Another thing unique to its movement is that it can also climb ledges that are 64 point tall, adding to its great agility. It can do a short-range melee attack, and can also do lunge attacks at a medium range, which can drain its target's health to heal itself. It also has a short-range gore shot before it explodes into a spread of smaller gore darts. Their speed is good, but their attack range is limited, giving it an F neutral grade. On death, they can drop rank 1 health orbs and rank 2 armor orbs, and their unique, uncommon drop is the Ghoul's partial Kakuho. The Berserker Imp, which the Imp Lord should be called that, it has distorted red skin and spikes. They have 450 health, they have deep imp sounds, and they are a rare spawn. Like the Ghoul, they have similar fast strafing movement. They have a faster than normal melee attack, along with a sliding lunge attack in short ranges. Their main attack is throwing a bunch of penetrating and bouncing gore spikes, which you need to avoid. They are also a bit hard to see. Sometimes when the Berserker Imp gets damaged, gore spikes shoot out from it. This is also one of the only imps that can infight with others like it, which is extremely rare. Its high health, attack, and movement give the Berserker Imp an E- difficulty. When they die, they can drop rank 2 armor orbs and rank 1 health orbs, as well as the Ghoul's Kakuho. The Tortured One, also called the Pain Harvester, fully red with more of a skeletal body. They have 180 health, make the standard imp sounds, and they are a rare spawn. Its speed is a little bit faster than the standard speed. It does not have a melee attack. In fact, the only way to attack is its signature homing missile, which has greater homing ability than the other fireballs. And when it goes too far or hits a wall, it spreads into smaller bouncing projectiles that don't home in. They can actually cast many fireballs in a single moment. It's not as annoying as the Berserker Imp, as it can be killed with an explosive. So it gets an F+ difficulty grade. Its drops include the rank 1 health orbs and the rank 2 armor orbs. This is the Hellion, orange skin and an archvile-like imp with black midriff and claws. It has 210 health, and like most imps, it has unique sounds. The Hellion is also a rare spawn. The Hellion has medium speed. Like the Tortured one, it does not have melee attacks. Its ranged attacks can be a stream of 5 fireballs, a spread of 3 fireballs, and a couple of fast, spiraling homing projectiles which always go around until they hit something. It also functions as a small arch vial, as it can resurrect the near body of a dead non-boss enemy, and when it does a dark after image cast, while sacrificing its health, it's supposed to resurrect dead enemies around a small area around it. Which is why it sometimes does it for no reason. The Hellion can also slowly regenerate its health over time. All this gives it the F+ difficulty. When they die, they leave damaging flames, which you need to wait until they burn out, and they can drop rank 1 health orbs and rank 2 armor orbs. The Nether Imp. Black skin with more spikes than normal imps. It has 200 health, they make strong imp sounds, and they are a semi-rare spawn. It has slow speed, but can also quick strafe. It has a melee attack, which doesn't make a sound, and it has 3 different ranged attacks. It can throw at least a couple of fast lightning projectiles in a row, or a couple of high damaging, explosive medium fast comet projectiles in a row, or a spread of 3 standard speed fireballs. It's not as hard as the Hellion, so they get the F neutral grade. On death, they can drop regular rank 1 healing orbs, as well as magic essence. Time for the Cerebral Imp, which means Brain Imp, which is weird. It has the same physical shape as the Nether Imp, but it is much bigger, and has a red hue with red spikes. It makes unique sounds, has 350 health, and it is a semi-rare spawn. It has slow speed and quick strafing. It has a scratch attack and also a close range fire gas attack. It can throw lightning bolts similar to the Nether Imp. It can also throw fast homing projectiles with a small blast radius. But its most powerful attack, which has a charge time on it before it fires, and it is like a BFG shot, which does a whole lot of explosive damage, and it can take away over 100 health and near 150 armor, so do not get hit by it. This makes it much harder than the Nether Imp, giving it an F+ grade. Sometimes when you kill it, its body can explode with a damaging blast radius. They drop large rank 1 healing orbs and demon tech plasma charges. The Flying Cerebral Imp, with the appearance of an original imp without spikes and black skin with red wings. Unique flying imp sounds with 250 health, and it's as rare as the previous imp. Since it flies and has quick strafing, this can make them from starting slow to moving fast. Even when they actually attempt to move faster than normal, they leave after images. They have the same homing explosive fireballs as the previous imp, only they fire 3 in a faster row, and they also have the 3 spread straight fireballs. While they don't have the deadly attack as the regular Cerebral Imp, their speed and flight ability give them their F+ grade. They also drop the same items as the Cerebral Imp. Time for some serious trouble. Strangely, getting this enemy to spawn is tricky at first, because there's a space in the spawn code name, so to spawn it you have to put the spawn code in between quotation marks, or just include the first quotation mark. This is the Doom Shadow. Mostly wherever it is, it always spreads random short after images in every direction. Black bipedal-like creature with red eyes and spikes. It has unique sounds mostly from the Demon Queen, and has 650 health, which is the second highest health of all the non-legendary imps on this list, and as guessed, they are a rare spawn. It has medium speed and can quick strafe. It has a variety of different abilities. It can fire a rapid barrage of slow homing projectiles almost non-stop. It can throw a wraith-like projectile that can do nearby damage. It also has a hit scan spell attack similar to the Archviles, which you need to get behind a wall to avoid the attack, because even after stunning or killing it, the attack may still hit. Its special ability is that it can summon shadow minions that are basically lesser to the Doom Shadow. They have 80 health, and there's actually 3 ways to kill them. Either the traditional way by just killing the minions themselves, killing the minion leader, which is the Doom Shadow itself, which will kill all of the minions, or if it walks for too long it will disappear, which for some reason that method does not affect the kill counter. They have the same homing projectiles as the Doom Shadow, except with a slower cast rate. They can drop Hades crystals and rank 1 healing orbs. While the minions themselves have an F difficulty, the Doom Shadow gets an E neutral difficulty. When the Doom Shadow dies, they have different drops than most imps. While they drop the large life orbs, they also drop Hades crystal bundles and Nemesis armor essence, which can go up to a maximum of 1,200 points. And its rare special item is the Shadow Slave Orb. This enemy has the same spawn code format as the Doom Shadow. This is the Dark Catharsi. It is a Klesk looking creature with forest green skin, and it can also make growling noises. It also has its own sounds and has 450 health, and it is a rare spawn. It can shift its walking speed from slow to fast. As you can see, it can fire what appears to be BFG 15k shots as its main attack, but it can also do a secondary attack which has a charging state to shoot the fast BFG 10k shots. Another detail to its attack is that they don't exactly shoot straight at the target, but at a short angle spread, which would make it unpredictable, especially close up. By the way, every time it dies, not counting freezing, it will always do a random 360 spread of some BFG 10k shots, which makes it dangerous to kill close up. So if you are close, find cover before killing it. This adds to its E- difficulty. It can drop heavy rank 1 health orbs, as well as rank 2 armor orbs, and it can drop energy batteries and battery packs. This is the Abyssal Imp. It is black with grey webbed wings and can emit black smoke. It makes the Doom 3 imp sounds, and it has 800 health, which is the highest out of all non-legendary imps, and it is one of the rarest on the list. The Abyssal Imp is also the strangest imp variant on the list for 2 reasons. 1, its presence does not appear on the kill counter. Secondly, if it waits too long, this happens. It vanishes into thin air. This happens regardless if he's in combat or not. They disappear after just 1 minute of doing nothing. Since it is a flyer and can quick strafe, it can go from slow to very fast. It also has teleportation, which can sometimes teleport behind the player close up. Its attacks are special compared to the other imps. It throws a volley of fast, hard-to-see side-waving homing projectiles that also bounce off of objects, and if you get hit by them, it will cause a debuff that lasts for 25 seconds, which reduces the player's attack power. They also cancel out the effects from the armor directly hitting your health. Even if you have legendary armor, the projectiles still damage your health. Their second attack is a fork split, ground clipping black smoke attack that also bounces off of walls, and they will continue to be dangerous as long as they last. This gives the Abyssal Imp a D- grade. If you kill the Abyssal Imp, it barely drops anything, but they can drop rank 1 healing orbs, but also a rare drop is the Orb of Deep Fears, and for some reason they can also drop shotgun shells. Up next is the Corrupt Pawn, also known as the Warlord Imp. Black skin with red and black armor, and it is the second monster in the corrupt elements of enemies, as also hinted by the light blue eyes. The first corrupted enemy in the variant series being the Corrupted General from the Commando variants. The Corrupt Pawn has its own imp sounds. It has 600 health, which is the 3rd highest in the non-legendary variants, and it is obviously rare. They have fast walking movement, as well as fast lunge and long distance charge attacks, which can deal a lot of damage. They especially use it when you are far away. Also, it does normal melee attacks. Its ranged attack it fires from its shield can throw 4 corrupt fireballs, which always fire at random directions in a short angle, so you could have more than one projectile flying next to each other. Also, when the Corrupt Pawn uses that attack, it always recovers some health, so you better kill it quickly. This gives the Corrupt Pawn the E+ difficulty. When killed, they can drop large life orbs and small Nemesis armor orbs. Time for the Insane variants. There's 2 of them. The Insanity Tech Imp, also known as the Insane Cyber Imp. They have the same physical shape as the Cyber Imp with grey skin. They have the Cyber Imp sounds, have 450 health, and they are semi-rare. It mainly has slow speed, but it can shift its speed to medium. It has the usual scratch attack and lunge attack. It has 4 different ranged attacks. It can fire a barrage of lasers. It has a railgun which can be avoided if you sidestep quickly. It can also fire a barrage of BFG 10k shots and 15k shots, both of which obviously have a blast radius. As usual, the 10k shots are very fast, and for the Insanity Tech Imp, they are shorter in length, making them hard to see, and they do great damage. The 15k shots move slower but are nonetheless quite fast and have a spherical appearance, but they should not be taken lightly because they do serious amount of more damage than the 10k shots, making the 15k shots very deadly, taking away nearly 150 armor while taking away 120 health away, so they should be avoided at all times. Since the insane Cyber Imp has a railgun, that means it can fight with others like it, even though that is a rare occurrence due to its rarity. When killed, it will explode. All of this gives it the E-neutral difficulty grade. Its drops include the rank 1 healing orbs and the demon tech charges. The second insane variant on the list, the insane Annihilator Imp. It has the same physical appearance as the regular Annihilator Imp, with the only difference being the grey skin. They have similar sounds and the same amount of HP and rarity as the previous Imp. It has the same speed shift as the previous Imp. While it has a melee and a lunge attack that do normal damage, it is not recommended to fight the insane Annihilator Imp in close range, because one of its attacks are the explosive shotgun shots. Its other ranged attacks can include bursts of explosive minigun shots, which if it does, players should never get close as it can cause quick damage. It can also fire a couple of BFG 15k shots, which are its most useful attacks at a long range, which again they do major damage. It can also fire homing BFG 15k shots, which have slow turning speed, but they are the most effective at a range, which is one of its most dangerous attacks. It also has another close range attack, the grenade launcher, but when it does this, it causes a sprite bug which turns it into the regular Annihilator Imp sprites. Nonetheless, the insane Annihilator Imp is dangerous, especially in close ranges, and like the previous Imp, on death, it will do a damaging explosion, which gives it a difficulty grade of E+. Its drops have the same orbs and ammo drops as the original Annihilator Imp, but for the insane variant, it drops more powerful weapons. It could drop the explosive shotgun, explosive minigun, or the BFG 15k. Finally, to list the legendaries, this is the legendary Imp, gold with blue webbed wings, with a gold aura and gold light. It has approximately 1000 health, and all legendaries have unique 2D sounds, are at least rare, and have their own soundtrack. Its appearance immediately gives knowledge of its flight ability, and since it's a legendary, that means it moves fast, and legendary weapons cannot hurt it. The legendary imp also has teleportation, which increases its maneuverability. While it has a scratch attack, it has 3 different ranged attacks, each of which does heavy damage since it is a legendary variant. The first one, which is the most annoying attack, is its stream of spiraling, fast homing missiles. The second ranged attack is a 5 spread of slower but more deadly projectiles. If the legendary imp uses any of those 2 attacks, a good strategy is to use sprite obstacles as cover while using hit scan weapons to attack it. But the sprite cover won't help against the third attack. If the legendary imp is shown to charge up an attack, it will fire a large, slow-moving energy sphere that can shoot automatic railgun fire, and the main energy sphere itself can do deadly damage, which makes it like the Demon Tech BFG. Also, while the legendary imp charges the attack, it will remain invulnerable until it fires. This forces the player to get into cover as quickly as possible. This also forces players not just to hide from the energy sphere, but also the legendary imp at the same time. When the legendary imp charges up the energy sphere, try to get behind a wall closest to the legendary imp to decrease the flight time of the sphere while taking evasive maneuvers to keep yourself from the line of sight from the sphere, also while trying to not get into dead ends. The legendary imp is debatably the easiest legendary in the mod, being that most of its main attacks are projectile based and quite avoidable. In a good open area with good cover, it can be easy to take out with base weapons. That gives the legendary imp a C- grade. Its regular drops can include the large healing orbs. The legendary drops are the Legendary Sphere, which gives 500 health, Invisibility Sphere, Power Sphere, as well as Legendary Plasmatic Cells and Cell Packs, and the Legendary Plasmatic Rifle. The Legendary Phase Imp, black with gold hue, gold aura, and gold light. It has the same health and rarity as the Legendary Imp. It doesn't have flight, but it has invisibility and it can move and strafe fast, as well as move faster when it is cloaked. It can also attack when cloaked. It can also seem to teleport to another location. Pairing that with its invisibility can disorient the player, especially when it warps out for a while, only to reappear somewhere else moments later. It has a strong melee attack. For its ranged attacks, it has the same wave pattern homing fireballs as the previous legendary imp, and throw them at either a normal pace or a faster pace. It can also throw rapid, extremely fast straight fireballs, which are effective at a long range. Since it is ground-based, using explosive mines can be effective against the legendary Phase Imp, as well as sprite-based obstacles, since it doesn't have any attacks to shoot through them, but it can be tricky to use the sprite cover if the legendary Phase Imp turns invisible. All of this gives it a grade above the legendary Imp at C+.
First blood.
They can drop everything that the legendary Imp drops, but also the legendary rune. The Enraged Legendary Imp. Same physical appearance as the legendary Imp, except with red details, red aura, and red light. It is more rare than the previous two, and it has 1200 health. Its movement is barely any different than the legendary Imp, but its attacks are more powerful. Not just damage-wise, but also projectile count. Its spread shot now throws 9 fireballs instead of 5. It also has the same barrage of spiraling homing missiles. Also, its special charging attack not only fires 1, but 2 energy spheres in a split fork angle, which means you cannot just hide in the middle of a thin column behind it, as the 2 energy spheres can go straight around them, even though they have about less than a 30-degree angle split. This means you need to get farther or find a wider wall for cover. Since the spheres fire railgun shots, just like the original legendary Imp, sprite objects are ineffective to protect against them. Also, like the legendary Imp, it can also do combo attacks, like first using the spread attack before throwing the barrage of homing fireballs. Again, be careful when they teleport. They may also throw certain attacks when warping behind you for a surprise attack. It's still less dangerous compared to the legendary Phase Imp, so it gets a C neutral grade. It can drop the legendary healing orbs, which are common for enraged variants, which go up to 500. It can drop the Enraged Legendary Sphere, which gives 750 health, along with Enraged Cells, Cell Box, and the Legendary Power Sphere and Invisibility Sphere. The Nemesis Imp. Gold with black details, black aura, and darkens the area around it. It is the second most rare, and it has 1500 health. It is not only faster, but it can also teleport much more frequently compared to the other legendary imps. Like other Nemesis variants, not only are they immune to legendary weapons, but also Nemesis weapons as well. Its scratch attack does high damage. Also, it is never recommended to fight any Nemesis point blank without invulnerability. It has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 projectile-based attacks. Not only do they have more damage, but are dark projectiles. The first attack is obvious, the barrage of spiraling, homing projectiles. The second attack is the widespread of 9 straight projectiles. The third attack is similar to the charge attack that the legendary imp has. It fires 2 in a row instead of a fork, and the dark sphere is much more deadly as it fires fast shadow projectiles that do way more damage than the railguns from the other legendary imps. And its fourth attack is an extremely fast, long-range Shadow Bolt that also does a lot of damage, and can force players not to peek out of a corner nor stand still far away for too long, which means the player will have to continue to move around safer areas away from the Nemesis Imp to avoid getting flanked when it teleports. Fortunately, when the Nemesis Imp's health is dropped below 40%, it will lose its wings, making it move at medium walking speed and easier to use explosive mines against it. However, it is still not recommended to take the Nemesis Imp lightly because it gains the ability to cloak itself while shifting faster and having a lunge attack. Its drop count can either be regular or can bring a cluster of Nemesis armor shards, life orbs, and cell clips. It can also drop a Nemesis healing orbs, light Nemesis armor, the Nemesis rifle, and Nemesis cells and cell box. It can also drop the legendary power and invisibility spheres, Enraged Legendary Sphere, and the Nemesis armor sphere. But wait, there's more. Yes, that's right, the Nemesis Imp also has a second form. If you kill it too quickly, or kill it while you have a true legendary rune, this happens. This is the Vexed Nemesis Imp. It has the shape of a Gore Imp, the skin, aura, and light are white with black spots, and it is the rarest variant of them all, with obviously the hardest difficulty and highest health set at 2000. Paired up with its health with its previous form makes it a total of 3500 health. Vexed Nemesis enemies have all of their stats increased. For the movement, not only is it faster, but it can also teleport more frequent and farther. It has more than all of the attacks that the regular Nemesis Imp does. It can fire a fast, rapid, bright stream at its target. It can fire a special sphere that can spread damaging Vexed Nemesis flames on the ground, each lasting for a moment that need to be avoided. It can also rapidly throw spreads of bouncing projectiles, and rapidly throw spreads of different projectiles that also leave damaging flames on the ground. all of the previous attacks are boosted up and more dangerous. Its Charge Fear attack not only has the railgun, but also fires other moving auto-homing projectiles similar to the Demon Tech Devastator Sphere, and it can also bounce off of walls, making them last longer. While it starts with no wings, if it gets below 50% health, the wings regenerate, which means it will fly again, making it go even faster and easily catch its target in elevated areas and can attack while moving. It even has some resistance to other weapons. Even with a regular legendary rune, the Vexed Nemesis Imp is challenging. A good close range weapon would be the explosive super shotgun or the freezer rifle, and try to use the acid worm if you have it. Especially the best weapons to use are the Demon Tech weapons. This gives the Vexed Nemesis Imp the first S+ difficulty grade. They have the same drops as the Nemesis Imp, but it can also drop a legendary rune. And that is it for the Imp variants for the Complex Clusterfuck mod. Stay tuned for the Demon and Spectre variants for the next episode. So to all of you Doom Slayers, have a great life.